Welcome to Radio 64. Welcome to Radio 64 Video Game Music Remix Radio. I'm your host, Eric Mickles, also known online as duskvstweak. Radio 64 is part of the Radio Meanwhile network. Visit radiomeanwhile.com for more information about this and other great podcasts. You can find past episodes of Radio 64 on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And thank you to WRAQ 92.7 FM in Angelica, New York for hosting us every Monday at 6 p.m. The track we open the show with is called A Different Kind of Peace by Kadmium from ocremix.org from the game Donkey Kong Country. That, of course, is remixing David Wise's Aquatic Ambience through a Hans Zimmer kind of lens. Aquatic Ambience is a very relaxing, atmospheric, very much a peaceful tune, and Kadmium here has made that track much more stressful, that constant breathing, that sound of somebody scuba diving. It's just so continuous, and then those horns and those heavy sounds come in. It's an interesting take on that very well remixed source tune. I actually really like the big orchestral take on Aquatic Ambience. So again, that was A Different Kind of Peace by Kadmium from ocremix.org from the game Donkey Kong Country. Up next is a track from Chrono. The original track was The Girl Who Stole My Stars by Yasunori Mitsuda, and this track has always put me in a weird place. I find it very sad and a bit lonely. Gosh, I'm looking at the time. It came out in November 2007, and I would have listened to this when it first came out, but it really kind of affected me back then. I thought it was almost too sad. It feels like a goodbye in a lot of ways, this track that's coming up. The synth and the electronic pieces throughout this, the piano, they have a very beautiful sound. The track is also mixing them with this kind of hip-hop beat. And I don't know, it puts me in a melancholy state, and it always has. You know, I'm older than I was when this song first came out, but it still has that effect on me. Maybe it's the way it evokes the sense of starlight. Maybe it's that semi-choir sound throughout this. But yeah, this is a really nice piece. This is Who Stole My Stars by Diggi from ocremix.org from the game Chrono. That was Who Stole My Stars by Diggi from ocremix.org from the game Chrono Cross. And I think I said it once before that whenever I listen to the Chrono Cross soundtrack, I always feel like I'm smarter for listening to that soundtrack over other video games. It's just such a beautiful piece of work. That whole game, Chrono Cross, really is something special, and we're lucky to have had it in our time. Back in 2012, yes, that's tracks too. Okay, I'm more time traveling. June 2012, I would have graduated college and I would be living on my own. Very poor because I didn't have a job right out of college, barely affording my rent, and OC Remix was responsible for getting me new music. I remember exactly when this album came out. This was from the Final Fantasy Random Encounters album, kind of a very heavy, sometimes metal take on the first Final Fantasy game. And this track is definitely my favorite track from it. It's called Fierce Fairground Fight. The menu screen and the shop theme and the floating castle theme, all by Nobuo Uematsu's original Final Fantasy work. And black guitar, just there's acoustic guitar in this, and it's great. And even the acoustic guitar is a bit aggressive, but then that electric comes in. It just becomes this almost crazy rock waltz of a tune. The drums are just pedal to the metal right from the start. It's just this heavy piece. But then the second half of this song becomes something amazing, and it becomes almost kind of trippy with this guitar work. I love it. So I'm just going to let the song play. This is Fierce Fairground Fight by Black Guitar from ocremix.org from the very first Final Fantasy. That was Fierce Fairground Fight by blackguitar from ocremix.org from the game Final Fantasy. You can find that also on the album Final Fantasy Random Encounter. The second half of the outro, there's some guitar work in there that reminds me of the Power Rangers theme song too. Maybe that's why I like this song so much. It's great. I could listen to this track all day. We're gonna quiet things down a little bit. The neighbors are complaining. They're calling the landlord. We gotta tune it down. We gotta get out. This is from Super Mario Brothers 3. It's a piano piece. It's a piano orchestral piece, really. It's the swimming music from Super Mario Brothers 3, which is nice, but I don't think it's as iconic as the swimming music from the first Mario game. This song is it's kind of a big orchestral take for a while with this track from Super Mario 3. But then about like minute 2:45, the piano comes in and becomes a lot more quiet. It reminds me of maybe some of the tunes from Spirited Away. It becomes a lot more thoughtful, and I really I could use. Part of me thinks I would enjoy the song even more if it was that small, quieter piano as opposed to the big cinematic take on it. But I like the track either way. This is Aquacadence by Analoq from ocremix.org from the game Super Mario Bros. 3. That was Aquacadence by Analog from ocremix.org from the game Super Mario Bros. 3. It's a very nice piece there. Swimming in Mario 3, I think, stressed me out even more than the first one. Just it seemed like the ocean was even more alive with enemies out to kill me. And in Super Mario Bros. 3, they got the fish, that giant fish, that big Bertha fish. Terrified me as a kid. Might have been more frightening than the chain chomps to me as I grew up. Oh my goodness. Just thinking about Big Bertha chasing me like Jaws. Scary. This is kind of a strange song. It's called Sudden Loss by Goat. It's from the original Ninja Gaiden. The original Ninja Gaiden on the NES. 1988's Ninja Gaiden. It starts a bit more orchestral and acoustic. You kind of think that that's how the whole track is going to go, because it's like that for a full minute. But then Goat starts bringing in the electric guitar, and it kind of changes direction in a big way and becomes something much more interesting at the beginning. I think this song would have felt too long if it had stayed at the style of music that it was for the first minute. When the other instruments come in, the soundscape just feels richer and much more interesting. It's something that I have more time for. So it's this weird song. Part of me feels like I don't love it, and then I always find myself listening to it. I love the first Ninja Gaiden on the NES. That game, very hard, very satisfying, very fun. So this is Sudden Loss by Goat from ocremix.org from the game Ninja Gaiden. That was Sudden Loss by Goat from ocremix.org from the game Ninja Gaiden. And Ninja Gaiden on the NES had its cutscenes, slightly primitive, but they were still kind of cool. It felt like it was telling this B-movie ninja film. I didn't play the sequels, which is too bad. I haven't played that Xbox game, which some people swear by. We have a dance track now called Kill the Groove by Jorito. This is from Castlevania, The Order of Ecclesia, which was, what was that on? That was on the Nintendo DS. You got a vocal work throughout here, singing all these fun, inspirational, get you moving, Wicked Child, do the dance, make a move, crack that whip, kill the groove. I love it. I don't know if it's Jorito doing those lyrics, probably. Tuning he's doing on that voice is a lot of fun. There's also those audio samples where it's just like, ha, 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 that crack me up. This one is just a fun, energetic piece. It's remixing a couple. You got Vampire Killer and Sorrow's Distortion, but I think it's the Wicked Child theme. It's just such a sweet hook. And I think turning Wicked Child into a dance track was the right move. It's cheesy, it's fun, it's energetic. Let's play it. Kill the Groove by Jorito from ocremix.org from the game Castlevania: Order of Ecclesia. Feel the Groove by Jorito from ocremix.org from the game Castlevania, Order of Ecclesia. They're both Konami games, so I'd love to have that on a DDR track someday. But hurry, because Konami doesn't make games anymore, and I'm getting older, and I think DDR is one of those games I won't be able to play when I'm 70. The Uncharted Worlds track from Mass Effect is just a cool piece of music. The first Mass Effect has just such a cool lo-fi, sci-fi tone to it all. I really enjoyed the soundtrack from the first Mass Effect, much more than when Mass Effect 2 went much more cinematic and brought in more orchestra. I prefer the worn-out electronic sound of the first Mass Effect. And this track kind of takes the Uncharted Worlds theme, makes it a bit airy, makes it sound something that you could hear in a Tomb Raider game with kind of the higher notes here. Maybe because it's more ambient, it feels like something you could hear as you're exploring a temple or a tomb, I guess, specifically. I don't know why I said temple for Tomb Raider as opposed to a tomb. And we're not even talking Tomb Raider. Anyway, this is Uncharted Depths by Highbound from ocremix.org from the game Mass Effect. That was Uncharted Depths by Highbound from ocremix.org from the game Mass Effect. You know, I started Mass Effect 3, and I don't know how far I am in it, but I started that in the summer. I just fell completely off of it. I was able to play 1 and 2 and get into it, but for some reason 3 was just not grabbing me. So I gotta get back to that. There's some good music in what I've played of Mass Effect 3. I'm sure some cool tracks will present themselves. I don't know why I'm really attacking Mass Effect 3 right now. Mass Effect 1, good soundtrack. Okay, this song is... It's weird. I feel comfortable saying that. It's weird. It's different than anything I've really listened to before. It's this experimental, glitchy electronic piece that's really hard to describe. I mean, it's a song that's really based around sound effects with just a little bit of ambient tone in there. If anything, it reminds me of the show *Halt and Catch Fire*. A little bit of that theme. But that's not even a great comparison. It's just a different type of song. Yeah, glitchy, beepy, clicky, just like the sounds you think the computer's making inside as it working are now being used to create this piece of music. This is called Machine Wash by Michael Hudak from ocremix.org from the game The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. That was Machine Wash by Michael Hudak from ocremix.org from the game The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. I guess I thought I didn't like that song at first. I listened to it, I'm like, geez, I don't want to put this on Radio 64. But then I listened to it a couple more times and I started getting into it. It almost kind of has the same effect like ASMR has, that tingle you get in the back of the skull or behind the ears, with all those clicking. It's strange. Listening to it with headphones is a very strange experience. It's almost stressful, more stressful than that Donkey Kong song we played earlier. Hey, I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm 100% comfortable saying that. I don't know a thing about Yu-Gi-Oh. I used to run programs at the library where we would have kids come in and play Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I bought a deck and tried to have them explain it to me. It doesn't make any sense. Yu-Gi-Oh cards are absolute nonsense to me. So I don't know anything about that. I haven't watched the show. All that to say, there's a new album on OC Remix called Shonen Remix Jump, mixing tracks from One Piece games, Dragon Ball games, and Yu-Gi-Oh games. This one, I'm not surprised, is the one that I kind of lean towards. It's by Radiowar, one of my favorite remixers. He's remixing the game Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Dual Transfer. And I am familiar with the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds because I've seen the manga at the library. Boy, I feel old saying how much I don't know about Yu-Gi-Oh! But you know what? Yu-Gi-Oh's old too. Gosh, that was like on as I was like 15 or something, and I missed it completely. I think I was aged out of it when it showed up. I haven't talked about the track much. It like a lot of Radio Wars works. This is a very chill, relaxing, mellow piece of synth music. This is In Bayshire by Radiowar from ocremix.org from the game Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds Dual Transfer. That was In Bayshire, or Bayshire, I don't know which one to say, by Radiowar from ocremix.org from the game Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Duel Transfer. I know the thing where they say, like, let's duel, or start the duel. I gotta get out of this Yu-Gi-Oh! Hole I'm in right now. Alright. This is a hip-hop rap piece, which I'm always a big fan of when these original pieces of video game music where people just put in these amazingly clever rap lyrics that just kind of blow me away. And this one's right up there with the best of them. This is Spirit of the Law, combination of Anton Corazza and Melody. Created this rap piece about Phoenix Wright, the ace attorney. It just tells this whole story in rap about a court case happening in real time to us. It's fantastic. It's so smart. It's so clever, and it's great. It's a great sound. Some of the music even reminds me of the instrumental parts of this track. Remind me of like Street Fighter 3's soundtrack, which has a very hip-hop influence throughout. I can't say too much about the Phoenix Wright games. I want to get the trilogy pack that's out. Me and my wife want to play through them, but we haven't done it yet, so I'll just let this track play. It's called Spirit of the Law by Anton Corazza and Melody from ocremix.org from the game Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney.
Yeah, Melody, and I'm Tuesday. Please be seated.
Mr. Romo, I must admit that I'm puzzled. You hipsters claim to be such relaxed, free spirits, yet your rules for social behavior are even more set, tight, and rigid than those of square society.
A lot of the simple, everyday behavior is illegal. And so there's always a lot of heat on this. If you break the rules of the, you get put down. But you break the square rules and they throw you in the slam. That's a big difference.
Court is now in session. Check it. Prosecution ready, defense ready. Tuesday in front of the judge, things could get heavy. Your Honor, I don't kill beats. I don't even got skills. Please, I plead not guilty. A laugh from the prosecution. You and your crew know exactly what y'all been doing. Your song's ruthless, witnesses saw you do it. Mr. Wrong and I be refuting the evidence, I got to prove it. Defense says, I bet it's baseless conjecture. Tuesday been whacked since he started in grade 11. Never heard his tracks, he ain't saying nothing. Not a single word about how he sprayed a gun clip. The jury's whispering, judge grips the gavel. Slam order in the court, let's see how this thing unravels. Mr. Karma, you may call your first witness. Thank you very much, Your Honor, let us begin then. The courtroom's quiet, but it gets loud in the mind that's wondering what exactly went down, the truth. Only thing we came for, facts come together to make sure it takes form, so we listen close. Every minute, know every tick that goes, cause those who miss it be acting as if they didn't know. Unlike the man swearing oath as he gets into his seat. Mr. Witness, spit your testimony, please. Hey yo, I heard the man rap, it was murder, stand back when he hold the mic, cause he's straight blowing like dynamite. Tongue fit and final fight through the streets, reckless spitting flows, that's the closest to musical perfection. Forget it, it's impossible to match how we write a song. Ain't a single one of these rappers going quite as hard. Hold it, I heard he choked and lost 2 barrels. Yeah, but it's flow smooth like melody on a piano. No further questions, Your Honor.
Cool means something all by itself, you know, but it's like trying to define hip. You know, hip in general, or righteousness, you know? You can give 100 examples of what it isn't. Man, you have all the time saying what it isn't.
Now for those that still need to be convinced, this is from the crime scene, OC remix. It's irrefutable, solid, conclusive, gruesome. Tuesday, why'd you have to do it? Why? Suddenly he stands forth, different mood in his eyes, he seems to have transformed. The DJ was letting tracks spin like that's sick. I made that crap backflip in a casket. Bastards are trying to play me, talking about on the whackers and how I ought to care about what they think is happening. They'll ask for the crime, I ain't planning to practice. There wasn't an accident, my ears just told my brain, yo, that's it. I'm glad they found a tape to back it. I take this moment to admit I'm great at rapping. A savage that broke free from the cage he was trapped in. As they dragged him away, all that was heard was his laughing. Guilty.
That was Spirit of the Law by Anton Corazza and Melody from ocremix.org from the game Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. The talent that's on hand with a track like this, it blows me away, absolutely. So that was the last track of the show. Thank you for listening to Radio64, Video Game Music Remix Radio. I have been your host, Eric Mickles, also known on the line as duskvstweak, and I certainly haven't been recording this at such a late hour that I'm stressed to get this out in time. Radio64 is part of the Radio Meanwhile network. Visit radiomeanwhile.com for more information about this and other great podcasts. Find past episodes of Radio64 on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And thank you to WRAQ 92.7 FM in Angelica, New York for hosting us every Monday at 6 p.m. See you next time.